Welcome to the final Buffalo Sports Conversation Room of 2025. This is episode or season 316. With around the corner, we have some added Thursday Christmas games to talk about. So I'm your host, Jamie Malloy, along with my co-host, Joe Dalio, ready to go. So without any further ado, here's Joe. Hey, Joe, it's about talking about backstage, how we can't believe everything's happening. Like, this is our last show of 2025, and it's already the final game in Highmark Stadium,
Yeah, a lot going on here. And I already we're off to a great start as we get you on camera, getting down to the opening music here, so that's going to get us all pumped up. And, now we do that backstage here, but nobody sees that. But yeah, you're totally right. We were talking about it a minute ago. And, hard to believe that we're at the end of 2025 in general. Hard to believe that it's week 18 of the NFL regular season. Hard to believe that a 50-plus year reign is about to end, most likely. Of course, talking about the stadium here. So yeah, a lot of things winding down, and hopefully, I know the year is winding down on a good note, but hopefully the Bills season here, week 18, and the whole Rich Stadium, whatever you want to call it, Ralph Wilson Stadium, new era, whatever they've been called down the line. Hopefully that has a good ending as well.
Me too. You ready to talk about these 3 wonderful Christmas games that happened?
Sure, let's go.
Exactly. In fact, 3 of them were so wonderful that the NBA accused them of stealing Christmas from them. I wonder if you heard about that. The NBA wasn't happy about the NFL taking the quote their day from.
Yeah, I don't think any of them should be playing on Christmas, if you ask me. I'm a big NBA fan. I refuse to watch the NBA on Christmas anyway. The only reason we had football games on here is because, again, as I told you backstage, we had a house full here, and a great Christmas day, and quite a few people here. And they're football fans, so we had the games on. But even again, there's family activities going on. I'll admit I didn't catch a lot of these games live. I kind of caught up on them later. But the early game maybe, caught a little more of that one. But yeah, if you ask me, I don't think any of them should be playing on Christmas.
You think they should have the day off like we do?
Right. The NHL does. The NHL takes a nice 3-day vacation every year at that point, from the 24th to the 26th. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't play on the 24th or the 26th. But again, I can't criticize too much because we were watching, some of these football games here. But again, I don't think the NBA's got a right to be upset because, it's your day and it's been that way. There's room for more, and let the people choose what they want to watch.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the 1 p.m. Christmas Day matchup between the 6, 8, and 1.
There's Cowboys, that one.
That dang 1, right, Joe? Versus the 4 and 11 Washington Commanders at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. On the Cowboys' first drive of the game, Jake Ferguson, Fergie Ferg, let me love you a long time, caught his 8th reception of the season on a 78-yard drive, 36-yard touchdown to give the Cowboys the lead, 7-0. The Commanders answered back with a 29-yard field goal from Jake Moody, cutting the lead to 7-3 Cowboys. With 12-12, Williams scored his 11th rushing the scramble, gets the lead back 14-3. Turp scored a second touchdown of the season and an 8-yard run to increase the Cowboys' lead 1-3. With 4:39, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt touchdown was definitely Merritt based. on a 60-yard, on a six-play drive, scoring his third for 10 to cut the lead 21-7 Dallas. "22 seconds left in the half. Here we go, Joe. Brandon.
I was waiting for a field goal.
Kicked to 40 to the Cowboys lead to 24-10. Start the second. Scored his second touchdown. 32 Dallas. 47 left in the third quarter. Aubrey kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 52 yards, bringing the score to 27-17. With 19 seconds left in the third quarter, Moody kicked his second field goal of the game for 23 yards, cutting the lead to 27-20 Cowboys. With 4:01 left in the fourth, Aubrey kicked his third field goal of the game, this time for 51 yards, to give the Cowboys the lead 30-20. With 2:14 left in the fourth quarter, Moody kicked his second field goal from 51 yards, but it would be a little too late as the score would end 30-23 Cowboys. So, Joe, what do you think about the Cowboys breaking their three-game losing streak against an NFC East rival?
Yeah, I expected them to in this game, and pretty much everything was as expected here. I mean, I expected a competitive game, expected Washington to show up. I did expect the Cowboys to win, not by a lot. And, it turned out. Now, there were some unsung heroes here in this game. Dak Prescott played a very good game, but again, Josh Johnson, you wouldn't expect him really to do much, and he had a solid game for Washington. And then, of course, you mentioned Krosky Merritt, a couple of touchdowns there, and Malik Davis for the Cowboys. Again, not a name that we've mentioned a lot of here this year. Going over 100 yards receiving. So, some unsung heroes here, and just a good competitive game between division rivals. And again, didn't mean much. But again, it's Dallas, Washington that always makes it special. And again, it was this was out of all the games on Christmas, this is the one I caught the most of, just due to what was going on at the house and everything. But again, we were not disappointed, and it was a good game to watch, especially on the basis of a neutral observer, basically.
And so what do you think about Washington's performance? Other injuries.
Yeah, no, one of us has bad Wi-Fi here. I don't know if it's you or if it's me, but some of the things you're saying are kind of skipping here. But I think you asked, about Washington and playing in spite of their injuries. And again, like I said, a great effort from the quarterback there. Josh Johnson, again, with Washington playing most of their season without Jalen Daniels. I thought he stepped up good, and I thought Washington played with heart, considering all those injuries.
Mm-hmm. Now turning our attention to the 4:30 p.m. Christmas competition between the 8-7 Detroit Lions taking on the 7-8 Minnesota Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Skull. With 1:25 left in the first quarter, Aaron Jones Sr. ran it in for a 1-yard touchdown to give the Vikings the lead, 7-0. With 1:05 left in the second quarter, Isaac Tesla caught a 4-yard pass from Jared Goff, tying the score at halftime. With 3:03 left in the third quarter, Will Reichard kicked a 52-yard field goal to give the Vikings the lead, 10-7. With 1:57 left in the third quarter, Reichard kicked his second field goal of the game for 56 yards to close out the quarter at 13-7. Minnesota! With 4:39 left in the fourth quarter, Jake Bates from the UFL kicked a 48-yard field goal, cutting the lead to 13-10. With 3:43 left in the game, Jordan Addison scored on a 65-yard touchdown to give the Vikings the lead, 20-10. With 1:04 left, Reichert kicked his third field goal for 42 yards to give Minnesota the victory and bounced the Lions out of the playoffs. So, Joe, what did you think about the Lions getting swept by the Vikings and being eliminated from the playoffs due to all their injuries?
Yeah, the injuries have a big part to play in this, but I a game like this, I'm going to use that 4-letter Q word. I'm sorry. I think they quit, and you don't lose to an 8th string quarterback, basically a 3rd string offense here, and not show up yourself. And they scored 10 points. It's not like, and as far as I know, most of the Lions injuries are on defense, at least the key injuries. And I mean, the defense didn't play great, but didn't play horrible. But where's this Lions offense been for the last few weeks? I mean, I know there's some, offensive linemen that are out, but still, I think this team is just shut down. And again, losing to a team like the Vikings, not to take away from them because they got some injuries too. And again, some fake quarterback in there. I've never heard of him, certainly not JJ McCarthy. But how the Vikings were able to win this hands down against a team that supposedly was desperate for the playoffs. I don't know. I question that. And if anybody disagrees with me, they can question me on that. But
it was their defense too. I mean, Brian Flores was coming after Jared Goff with the blitzes, and he couldn't pick them up.
Well, it was working because they couldn't get a thing going. And now, before I end on this game, got to give credit to the Vikings. They've had a very difficult season. Their quarterback is developing a lot slower than they expected, and really, the Vikings haven't been much of a factor here, for most of the season. But here they are at 8-8. And again, that's not going to get them anywhere, but playing with a lot of heart and getting to that and to a point where they can actually end up over 500 here at 9-8. I think that's very commendable for a team that basically has been down and out most of the season and had not much to play for. And again, they've just playing it out as they should. And I think they deserve, recognition for that.
Yep. And what did you think about Max Brosmear's play filling in for JJ McCarthy? I know he only threw for 40 yards, but it looked like he was actually running the offense efficiently. And one thing about him, Joe, is this is a new trend in college football. You can transfer a bunch of times. He started at I think it was University of Maine or New Hampshire, and he transferred to Minnesota. It was a 7th-year COVID senior. So he played 7 years of college football. What do you think of that experience actually kind of translating the fact that he ended up getting his first win despite only throwing for 40 yards?
Yeah, you said it in the beginning of that piece there that, he was running the offense well. And somebody like him in this situation, I really think that's all you need to ask him to do. Just don't do anything that's going to lose the game. You can't expect him to go out and win the game, although, again, he ran the offense well, like you said. And he did, didn't do anything that was going to lose him the game. So I think that's the assignment in a case like this, and he carried it out excellently.
And you can see that he already kind of has that pro veteran leadership for a rookie. Like I said, playing 7 years of college football, that it's like Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, all these quarterbacks that transfer 2 or 3 times. Like I said, Jeremy even says it. It's like you're playing in the NFL because you're learning how to adapt to different playbooks, which is what you have to do in the NFL.
Right. You don't have too many quarterbacks come out of college that are like 38 years old. And of course, I'm exaggerating and that. And if it was the whole COVID, system there. And again, I had never seen this guy before. So I didn't really know who he was. But yeah, I agree with everything you said there. And again, he did well.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the last Christmas game of the day, the 8:15 p.m. showdown between the 12-3 Denver Broncos taking on the 6-9. I know we're going to still call it Arrowhead Stadium, Joe. I know it's GAH Field at Arrowhead.
It's always Arrowhead.
Arrowhead Stadium, kind of like Acrisure Stadium. Say it's still Heinz Field.
Mm-hmm.
8 left in the first quarter. Will Lutz kicked a 27-yard field goal and scored a 3-0 Denver. With 12 in the second quarter, Rashard Smith caught a 10-yard pass from Chris Alakun, bringing the score to 7-3 Chiefs. 50 seconds left in the half. Lutz kicked the second field goal of the game. This time for 30 yards to close out the half at 7-6 Chiefs. With 11:40 quarter, Harrison Buckner kicked a 53-yard field goal, increasing their lead to 10-6 Kansas City. With 1:55 left in the third quarter, Bo, get your Knicks on Route 66. Ran it in for a 9-yard touchdown, bringing the score to 13-10 Denver. With 8:03 left in the fourth, Bucker kicked the second field goal of the game, this time for 47 yards, to knot the game at 13-all. With 1:45 left in the fourth, rookie R.J. Harvey caught a pass to score the winning touchdown and give the Broncos a win 20-13. So, Joe, what did you think of the Broncos coming into Arrowhead and actually sweeping the Chiefs, kind of like exactly what the Chargers did do?
Yeah, it seems like everybody's beaten up on the Chiefs lately. And again, I give them a lot of credit in this game. They could have easily showed up and not put their hearts into it. Again, you lost Patrick Mahomes for, the rest of this season and more. They're talking about 8th string quarterbacks, as we were talking about in the Vikings game. Same situation here. They could have easily packed it in. It's Christmas. We got to seriously come out and play this game, but they played with heart and they gave the Broncos a scare, and the Broncos didn't play their best. Again, they found a way to win this game. But when I think of this game, again, I think of Kansas City, who could have easily packed it in with everything that's happened in the last few weeks, came out and played and gave it a game and put their heart and soul into it.
And Joe, here was the scary thing. This practice squad quarterback that they were starting, Chris Alakun, when he was at the podium, he sounded a lot like Mahomes with his frog. He had like a frog voice like Mahomes too. That was the scary thing. And somebody said the Chiefs are doing the devil's work with this guy sounding just like Mahomes when he.
Right, the spirit of Mahomes is in this one, but again, it was kind of the same assignment that we were just talking about with the Vikings quarterback there. Just go out, run the offense, and again, and just don't lose it. Don't do anything that's going to cost you or turn the ball over or anything like that. And again, I don't like to give the Chiefs credit. I love to see them being kicked when they're down. But I think you got to give them some credit here. And the fact that they showed up and played with heart in this game and almost stole it from the Broncos.
And Joe, do you believe that this was Travis' last home game ever played at Arrowhead Stadium?
Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's been officially announced.
Are we going to? Because it's officially announced. Do you think we're gonna? If it's officially announced, do you think we're gonna hear a new number one hit from his if he retires?
Right. Yeah, we'll have the fate of Kelsey or something like that. I don't know, but the fate of Travis, I guess we could say. I think it was his last game at Arrowhead. If you want the truth, I think he's going to retire after this year.
I do too. So anyway, let's head over to the Sunday 1:00 p.m. matchup between the 12-3 New England Patriots versus the 3-12 New York Jets, with a bunch of JV high school and rookie players out there since their season's over at MetLife Stadium. With 10:42 in the first quarter, Austin Hooper caught a 2-yard touchdown pass from Drake. It's gonna be May to give New England the lead, 7-0. With 5:06 left in the first quarter, Ramondre Stevenson ran in it for a 1-yard touchdown to increase the Patriots lead 14-0. With 11 minutes left in the second quarter, May threw a 22-yard pass to Stevenson to bring the lead to 21-0. With 9:56 left in the second quarter, Nick Folk, the ageless one, kicked a 39-yard field goal to cut the lead to 21-3 Pats. Yay, Jets are on the board. Celebrate. Fireman Ed. With 3:01 left in the second quarter, Stephon Diggs caught a 3-yard pass from May to increase their lead to 28-3. With 31 seconds left in the half, Hunter Henry caught a 13-yard pass from May to bring the score to 35-3. With 8:16 left in the third, Afston Chisholm III caught a 10-yard pass from May, increasing their lead to 42-3 at the end of the third quarter. However, though, with 14:51 in the fourth, Breece Hall ran it in for a 59-yard touchdown, but it was just too little too late as the New England Patriots would take the win 42-10. So, Joe, were you surprised that the Patriots beat the Jets by so many points? I mean, let's be honest here.
I was a little surprised. Again, what was that 4-letter Q word I mentioned a few minutes ago? I think the Jets have used that 4-letter Q word for the last few weeks, and they packed it in, quit, whatever you want to say. I've been giving this team too much credit all season. And I actually gave them too much credit here too, because I said before the game, yeah, they're going to come out fighting and give the Patriots a fight. Not that I thought that they would beat the Patriots, but I thought they'd come out and make a game out of this. And they never showed up. Yeah. So now give the Patriots credit. That quarterback rating stat that I adore, and I think is a great measurement of quarterbacks play. What's the highest rating a quarterback can get? I think it's like 159.
Yeah.
Well, Drake May had a 157. And it's too bad fantasy season is over. Well, there's some Super Bowls were going on, but I certainly wasn't a part of that. But Drake May was resurrected my fantasy team throughout the year. It's too bad this game wasn't a few weeks ago. 5 touchdown passes for Drake May. And again, a 157 rating, where I think 159 is the highest you can get. So, yeah, I've been duped by the Jets all year. I thought, okay, come on. You're at home, division rival. Again, this is your Super Bowl, basically. No, they didn't even show up. Now, I've heard some things about the coach here, for the Jets, and I have my own opinion. I'll ask you first, though. Is his job safe?
Yeah, because the owner and the owner said both Woody Johnson said both the GM Aaron Glenn will for season 2 with the Jets.
Okay, and I agree. I think he
confirmed that.
Yes, and I think he should. Again, the team quit on him these last few games, but I definitely think he should come back and get another chance with them, and see what he can do in year 2. I mean, I don't know how much time he gets, if things don't go well next year. But I agree. I think he should get another chance to be with them for at least one more season.
Well, good as I said, the owner said both the GM and Aaron Glenn are coming back for next year. Joe, so with the Jets season over and them kind of doing this all year, it started when, he came in and got rid of Aaron Rodgers. What did you think about all these rookies that they drafted that ended up getting on the field at the end of the year because they had nothing to play to start? Like what do you think of? Like I said, Justin Fields had his opportunity. Then Tyrod Taylor. But what do you think of even getting an opportunity to start, even though the team was struggling? Like happened if he didn't get rid of Rodgers. So what do you think of all these rookies and these unknown guys getting in their opportunity to play over? Just because I think you can tell Aaron Glenn's not going to be looking for big names. He just wants players that can get the job done or at least want to be a part of the team. And he's giving these guys this opportunity that they may have not had when he came in and he kept Rodgers, you know?
Yeah. Now, again, I didn't hear everything you said there. It kept skipping out a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's a great idea to play these guys. Like you said, nothing to play for. So give these guys a chance. You got a lot of young guys that could potentially make impacts down the road. Give them that game experience now. And I think it's a great idea to do that. And I love the attitude of the coach there, Aaron Glenn, saying, hey, I just want players that want to play and they're going to show up and play, you know, with heart. Now, I don't know if any of them did that in this game. Again, I didn't get a chance to watch this game, but it was basically from what I saw as far as highlights and read, it was over before it started. But again, I like that idea. And I think you'll see it this week as well. You know, just let these guys play, give them some game experience, and then, you know, that'll give them, you know, maybe set them up for next year.
And like I said, Joe, you could tell that's his attitude when he got rid of Aaron Rodgers. He's like, I don't necessarily need big names build my team. He's like, I'm just looking for people that can get the job done and we could build a successful team, whether if you're he's basically saying, I don't care what your status is. You know, that's how he is.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that.
Mm-hmm. So, but here's the one positive, though. What do you think about Breece Hall finally rushing for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career?
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of people saying he had a down year this year. I think it's more of a fact of him staying healthy because I think he did. I don't think he played up to his potential, but he stayed healthy for this season where that hasn't exactly happened in past seasons. So good for him. That's one bright spot the Jets could talk about, right? But hopefully he could build on that and have a Breece Hall type season next season and stay healthy and build upon that.
Yeah, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, so we'll see.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. We'll see, though. So now heading to our game of the week, the Sunday 4:25 showdown between the 10-5 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 11-4 Buffalo Bills Stadium. Here we go, folks. On a very sloppy, rainy day in Orchard Park, New York, the Eagles scored first with 38 seconds left in the first quarter on a 1-yard touchdown from Dallas Goedert. His name is Dallas, but he bringing the score to 7-0 Eagles. With 5:07 left in the second quarter, Jake Elliott kicked a 47-yard field goal to increase the Eagles' lead to 10-0. 11 left in the half. Elliott kicked his second field goal of the game, this time for 28 yards, ending the half at 13-0 Eagles. With 5:15 left in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen scored his 13th rushing touchdown of the year to bring the score to 13-6. But for the second week in a row, Michael Badgie's extra point was blocked, and he tried to kick it low, Joe, and I think he should have here because of the wind.
Yeah.
But with 8 seconds left in the game, Allen scored on a 1-yard tush-push play, but giving the Eagles the win, 13-12. So, Joe, what did you think about Badgley's kick getting blocked when they were going blocked, and when they went for the 2-point conversion after? It was the right call that they went for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it was that missed extra point that cost them the game right there. Because if he makes that point, then they go for the extra point and win the game. But because of the miss, they were forced to go for that 2-point conversion. Now, most people seem to be in agreement with this. I mean, some of the guys on Fox were saying, I wouldn't have gone for it. I am 1,000% in agreement with the decision to go for the 2-point conversion. Several reasons for that. I mean, one is you have control of the game here. You know, you got the momentum. You know, Josh Allen's going to make that play that they missed 80% of the time. So the chances of making the conversion are very good. again, you got momentum there. You don't have to, worry about what could possibly happen in overtime. You got the control of it right here, and it just didn't work out. A big reason, and I've heard a couple other people say this too, is again the kicker. He proved that he was not reliable, and he missed that extra point, which again is what I say cost the Bills the game. I don't care how windy it was. I mean, you got to make that. And to have, and I think I said this to somebody, maybe to you or, somewhere. I've told a few people this. I would rather lose the game the way the Bills lost it, going for it on a 2-point conversion, than say, okay, let's go to tie this game up, and then he misses another extra point. Right? I mean, people were upset that they missed this 2-point conversion, but I think they would have been totally pissed. And there would have been a lot more controversy. I didn't hear really much criticism from Bills fans directed towards McDermott and the coaching staff for going for this. Again, the only criticism I heard were from like Michael Strahan and a couple of guys from Fox. So everybody, especially Bills fans, seemed to be in agreement with the call, even though it didn't work out. I think McDermott would have taken a lot more heat had they gone for the extra point and it was missed. Or even if, let's say, they make the extra point there, let's say they lose in overtime. I think he would have got a lot more criticism. People would have been like, why the heck didn't he go for that 2-point conversion and try to win the game? So, again, I could not agree more with the decision to do that. And again, it didn't work out. Now, the Fox guys were arguing, well, you have the momentum, so that means you could take that momentum into overtime and win it there. Well, again, what if you don't get the ball? What if you, fumble the kickoff or whatever? So many things could have happened. Whereas, again, 75-80% chance they make this conversion and they win the game right there. This time the odds weren't with them. But I mean, do you agree, Jamie? I'm totally okay with this call, even though it didn't work out.
Yes, I do think they should have gone for it. It was the right call. Allen just missed the throw.
Okay, and that's exactly what I would say.
Dylan, guess what? I mean, not Dylan. Joe, guess what? We actually have to do something real quick. Dylan is actually just joined our studio, and I want to add him on here.
Okay, bring him in.
Thoughts about everything.
All right.
Hey, how you doing, Dylan?
Doing pretty well. We might be seeing each other next week.
It's looking that way, right? I know you had mentioned it earlier in the week on our group chat, and just the way the stars are aligning here and the cards are falling, I would tend to agree with you.
I'm like 96, 2017, 2025. What's next?
Right now, I'm sure we'll talk more about it. Are the Bills a team that you would want to see coming into Duval there, or would you rather maybe see somebody else, or does it not make a difference?
I'll tell you what. I want to see every team. I want to see any team but the Houston Texans.
Okay.
I don't want any part
That's
of the
fair.
Texans.
I think a lot of NFL fans would say that.
I would agree.
But usually, I would be fearful of facing Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But Trevor and the Jags are 2-1 against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Bills, we split each other's, winning each other, and then Jackson won that crazy London game a couple of years ago. But the one area that's problematic for the Bills from the neutral standpoint, the rush defense has been bad all year. And guess what Jacksonville can do? Run the ball, and more importantly, stop the run. Hence, Jonathan Taylor against all defense.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
I was just going to get to that point, though, Dylan, because that wasn't the reason why they lost to Philly this week. Their run defense actually played the best. That was the best I've seen their run defense actually play against Philly, even in a losing effort. Because Joe, what did you think about the run defense actually holding Saquon Barkley to only 68 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams have been holding Saquon Barkley to 68 yards. So, I agree though, because and the way it started out, I was like, oh my God, here we go. He was going to have one of those breakout games it looked like in the beginning. But no, I agree. The Bills, not that they played great, and I agree with Dylan too, is that the number one concern I think we have going into the playoffs for as a Bills, Bills fans here is their run defense. But certainly, I think they made some improvements, and that showed in Sunday's game. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, and for a team that we've kind of we kind of tend to rush four guys and just sit back in the zone. What did you think about in this game? The defense was more active and, creating pressure on Jalen Hurts and actually playing man coverage against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and all of Philly's star wide receivers.
Yeah, I thought it was the right move. And again, my wife, watches Bills games and doesn't really watch much else. And she's like, why can't they tackle this guy? And it's like I had to explain to her, hey, this is Jalen Hurts. It's not only the Bills that can't tackle this guy. There's, this is a league-wide thing. So I said, yeah, this is how they play. So it's easier said than done. Tackle this guy. Again, he made it difficult.
I've got a question. Would you rather tackle Jalen Hurts or tackle Derrick Henry?
Well, there's another guy that's hard to tackle. I guess I'd rather be faked out of my pants than stiff-armed to the turf. I
can attest. My Jags have been the victims of a few Derrick Henry stiff-arms.
Right, being in the same division, especially. That Henry was with the Titans for so long. So,
but here's the thing: though, Jalen Hurts can squat probably as much as Derrick Henry, though. He can squat 600 pounds for a quarterback.
Wow. And by the way, what the heck were the Eagles doing in the second half? That was the most concern. I mean, the Eagles put up, 17 yards of offense? Like, A.J. Brown didn't touch the ball.
Jalen Hurts didn't have one completion in the second half either.
I mean, what were the Eagles doing? Were they basically not turning it over?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then with your Bills, what the heck was that game plan? Playing at home and in first half, and you basically hit two sort of deep plays, and that's it.
Yeah, well, the Bills, they think games don't start until about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, that's part of it.
Both teams kind of struggled, though. We were playing in like a monsoon most of the game, too.
Yeah, the weather conditions definitely, played a part in this. And, I kept telling people, too, I said, for a 13-12 game like this and a sloppy game, and again, it was the elements that played a big part, I was entertained. It was a fun game to watch, I thought, still. It just didn't turn out the way we wanted it to go. But it, again, the weather conditions did definitely contribute to the sloppiness of it.
So, Joe, should we make now our predictions for Sunday's game against the New York Jets at the last ever game at Highmark Stadium in the regular season? Let's do it. You want to go first, Joe?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I can't believe we're saying that. Excuse me. But and no matter what quarterback plays, I'm hearing rumblings that Josh Allen might be sat out. We'll see what happens. I could see him treating this as like a preseason game. Maybe he plays a half, and depending on how things go, I don't know. We'll see. But again, the Jets have quit, and I think the Bills are going to still be motivated. So I got this game, Bills 34, Jets 17.
Dylan, as a neutral observer here, what do you think?
I was gonna actually ask you guys this question. If you were the Bills and Sean McDermott, would you sit Josh Allen and potentially give him a whole week of rest before a wildcard game, or play him knowing the Chargers aren't going to play Justin Herbert and basically play for the win and end up in, let's just say, Jacksonville? Or do you we'll play New England. We already beat them a month ago. Who cares?
What I think they're going to do is they did this last year when they played New England, Allen went out there to technically, quote unquote, start the game, to keep his streak of starts. And then after that, he ran right off the field, and Trubisky played the rest of the game. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to let Allen technically start by taking a knee on that one snap or whatever, and then he's going to come out the field, and I think Trubisky plays the rest of the game.
Okay. See, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he plays about a quarter. I read something somewhere where they say, obviously, they gear the offense around him not running and, not having to do much. And so I think they do that for about a quarter. And then he comes out and Trubisky plays the rest of the way. So that's what I see happening.
I mean, obviously, Trubisky, he obviously can't do the things that Allen could do in terms of running and everything, but I think he is smart enough to run that offense. He's totally capable of doing that.
And be honest with you, I think you could put me under center against the Jets, and they're not getting one of my passes.
Jets, well, yeah, especially with the Jets secondary and their defense, they're just basically they called out the dogs, and now they're just playing a bunch of they're playing a bunch of rookies and undrafted rookies to see what they got for next year. They're in evaluation mode right now.
The Jet performance, and I've seen some bad performances, but we've seen rookie head coaches get better. Nachos, Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen. Excuse me. Kellen Moore.
Those are anomalies, Dylan. Those ones.
But Kellen Moore and the Saints are finishing well, playing hard. Tyler Shucker looks like he can play. The Jets.
Think about the Dylan, the Ben Johnsons and all them. Those are anomalies. Like most first-year coaches don't do what those guys are doing and turn around a first-year team to do really well right away. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, but Aaron Glenn's a defensive-minded coach, and the Jets haven't intercepted a pass in Super Bowl III.
I know. Who are the Jags playing this week? By the way, I want to know.
Tennessee.
Indy, right?
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Yeah, they played Indy this week. I forgot.
Yeah,
What's your prediction on the Jags?
I'm not jinxing. I'm scared to death to play Tennessee because Tennessee knocked us out of the playoffs in '99, and that crazy game 3 years ago was somehow we won with that scoop and score against Josh Jacobs. I am scared to death of this game, even though I feel Trevor's playing unbelievably well, but I am scared to death.
Yeah, especially like I said, they may be 3-13 or whatever right now, but Cam Ward still has a chip on his shoulder, being the first 0-star recruit to go number 1 overall. I mean, he's humbled by that. I feel like Cam Ward.
Yeah. Now, what's the Jags situation as far as the division is concerned?
If we beat the Titans, then we win the AFC South. Or if Houston beats the Colts, but the Colts are starting Riley Leonard, and Houston's probably going to win. So we'll play our guys. Trust me, we're not sitting Trevor Lawrence. Maybe if it's 35-3,
right?
But Trevor's going to play, and we beat Tennessee and Nashville a few weeks ago, and honestly, we're at home. I hope the crowd's into the game because it's a chance to get a home playoff game.
Right. Okay, so if they lose and Houston wins, then Houston takes the division?
Correct. Then we end up facing the winner of the Ravens-Steelers game.
Wow. All right, and I don't think that's going to happen. I can't see the Jags. And again, I know you don't want to jinx it. I think the Jags show up and play and take that game and end up with the division.
This feels like a year where anything can happen. Like, would it surprise anyone if name me a random team in the NFC? Would it surprise you if the Eagles lost in the wild card game or end up in the Super Bowl? Would it surprise anyone if the Bears ended up playing for the championship game. Would it surprise anyone if the Rams got their you-know-what together and ended up in Santa Clara?
Right. I keep saying this all the time. There's 14 teams going to be in the playoffs, and I think 12 of them have a legitimate chance to go to the Super Bowl. I've never seen such a crapshoot as far as the NFL playoffs is concerned, which is amazing, which makes it just that much more exciting, in my opinion. 12 out of 14 teams have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but would it surprise anyone? I mean, I might be culture my way, but would it be crazy to see the Jacksonville Jaguars end up in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely not. It would not be.
No.
Again, the only team I can't see going would be like Carolina or Tampa or any one of those teams. And there was another one. If Pittsburgh wins their division, they're not going anywhere. I don't think the Ravens are either. But I don't know. The Ravens I wouldn't even count out.
Do you think Lamar? Yeah, I don't even know if Lamar plays on Sunday.
Yeah, he's still 50-50 right now.
I mean, I'm not saying this, but part of me thinks Lamar doesn't want to play because he wants out of Baltimore, but I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, I like I said, it's any team in the NFC besides the NFC South champ, I wouldn't be surprised, if they end up going to the Super Bowl. You got those three teams from the NFC West. You got the Packers, you got the Bears, you got the Eagles that are all of a sudden playing like a defending Super Bowl champ. So, I mean, any of those teams.
I mean, Green Bay's defense scares me a little bit, but I'm never going to eliminate Packers if that coach and quarterback was still at it.
Yeah. Anybody.
And I don't mean Malik Willis. I mean the other guy, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Joe, I forgot to put my prediction of the game. I think with Allen or Trubisky, I think the Bills say farewell to Highmark Stadium with a solid win. I'm going to say Bills 34, Jets 13.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go Bills 37. Excuse me. 17 times 2, 34. And since Joe Namath wore number 12, 12.
34 to 12. So we're all in the same range here, pretty much, in that game. And I'd be absolutely shocked if the Jets even showed up for this game.
Is Aaron Glenn about to get fired?
Not what I. Because I saw Dylan that on December 29th yesterday. Woody Johnson confirmed both Aaron Glenn and the GM will be back for season 2.
Right before you came on, we talked about that. And even though the team has quit on him for the last month, I think he'll be. Well, it's official now, as what Jamie said. But I think he deserves one more year. And then if
he's not head coach, Aaron Glenn's not head coach material. I mean,
I like that he got rid of Aaron Rodgers, though. That was the best thing he did.
No, that was the worst thing he did.
You think so?
Yeah.
We seem to think we seem to agree that I think it was best for the Jets organization as a whole. I don't think they were going to do much anyway this year. I think it was a good thing that he moved on for them.
By the way, how many guys realistically can win the MVP?
Well, you sent a text earlier. I think it was you that said it, right? That basically Matthew Stafford lost it last night.
No, I think it was more. I think it was more somebody on Sunday won it, and it's not the guy you're thinking, and it's not the guy you're thinking of.
Okay. I haven't really thought about that, but
I think the MVP is between 3 guys right now.
Okay.
Maybe 4, but I don't know. I think 3 are quarterbacks. You could probably guess who the quarterbacks are. Take a wild guess.
And you know what? Blanking right now. Not Jalen Hurts.
No,
Shoot.
I'll give you a hint. One of the quarterbacks put
He's
up.
just surrounded in great receivers, Jalen
Well,
Hurts.
one of them put up 5 touchdowns against the Jets.
Okay, Drake May. Yeah.
The other
Drake.
is probably Stafford, even though he laid an egg last night. Although I think McVay's more the deal with Stafford being good than Stafford being good.
Mm-hmm.
The third quarterback, let me see if you can guess who he is.
Not somebody that plays in your state.
I mean, the way Trevor's finishing the season right now with 19 touchdowns his last 5 games.
I mean, it's a good thought. It's not going to happen.
I mean, Trevor's not even a Pro Bowler, but that's either near or there.
It's not going to happen. It's not blasphemy to talk about it, right?
And then the fourth guy, even though he's got 0 chance to win MVP because he's not a quarterback, the one San Francisco 49ers stayed healthy this year. Christian
McCaffrey, CMC.
Yeah, and again, he won't get it, but he's certainly worth, being talked about in the conversation.
All right, I'm gonna get out and get ready for our show at 9:00. Do you guys need the link?
I think
yes, please.
I have it. I'm actually going to sneak in there for a little bit tonight. So
I'll give you the link. I'll send you guys the link on the X-Mobile.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Dylan, for surprising us and coming on. That was thoughtful of you.
I'm just getting ready in case we meet next week.
Right, and it's a strong possibility.
Okay.
I think. we'll certainly be talking about it more.
That's fine.
So that was a cool surprise.
He's great.
Right?
Yeah. So Joe, guess what? I was gonna ask Dylan this, but since he laughed, it's back to you. It's that time in the week in our show for our question of the week segment. Would you like to get?
Yeah, he would have made me look bad because he probably would have got this question right. So yeah, I'm ready to go. Although I think I'm on a winning streak here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Joe, for the final time in 2025 on the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room on Driving to the Top Productions, here's your last trivia question for the year. Can you guess this NFL player? He had 18 rushing touchdowns in 2016. He had 56 career rushing touchdowns, and he played on 5 teams. Is it Melvin Gordon? This is a name you're going to remember because he was kind of a thorn to the Bills' sign with Brady. LeGarrette Blount. C. Probably the last Bills running back before James Cook, LaShawn McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Okay.
And D, my cousin's favorite fantasy player he used to play with, David Johnson.
So those are the 4 choices?
Yep.
All right. So can you, I didn't hear everything. Can you read them again? The 4
choices,
guys?
right? Okay. Is it A, Melvin Gordon, B, LeGarrette Blount, C, LaShawn Shady McCoy, D, David Johnson?
Wow. It's funny because I had one guy in mind that you didn't even mention, so it's obviously not him, Adrian Peterson, but he might have been before 2016 anyway. God, I really don't know, and I'm completely guessing here. I'm going to go with Johnson.
No, it was LeGarrette Blount.
It was Blount.
Because he was with the Patriots then with Brady.
Yeah, but I didn't think he had that many touchdowns. So, all right. Yeah, that one I had no clue. I'll be honest with you.
Well, it looks like we come to the end of our show. So, Joe, where can we find Media World? Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. The last Tuesday and the last Buffalo Sports Conversation Room episode of 2025.
Wow. I mean, it is, I still in shock that the year is over, right? I remember saying the same thing about 2024, right? On this show, probably last year at this time. Wow, I can't believe it. 2024 is over. We're already going into 2025. And now that's gone. You can find me on Joe Dell Sports on Twitter X there, open mic occasionally, which I'll be heading over there with you, in a few minutes. That's where you can find me in the social media world.
Mm-hmm. And then you can find me, yours truly, on Bills Chat 1 at Bills Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Tags on X and thefootball.com, where I write about all sports. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and ring the bell for all notifications. For more content on Driving to the Top Productions, you can visit our YouTube page, Twitch stream, X stream, Facebook stream, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, nobody sticks their finger in Spencer Joe's eyes and gets away with it like Jalen Carter. Let's give a shout out to the San Francisco 49ers for beating the Chicago Bears, sorry, Ken, 42-37 in a wild shootout. And let's enjoy the last ever Bills game at Highmark Stadium against the New York Jets this week. And the quarterback, Chris Berman. Nobody circles the wagons when it's the last regular season game at Highmark Stadium and it's the best chance for the Bills to win a Super Bowl in years, like the Buffalo Bills. See you next week, folks.
Have a great week. Happy New Year.
And have a great New Year, everybody. Bye.